Simon, what are your targets? What's going on this weekend? What are you saying to the players? This is what we need to do.
So many permutations in there, but I suppose the pleasing thing is that we've given ourselves a chance to potentially get into a quarter final. It's not the competition we'd like to be trying to get into, and stay in the Heineken, but by the efforts of the players on the weekend in Racing has given us an outside chance to progress into the Amlin. So it's a good thing.
What's the injury news? Anyone coming back? Anybody?
No, we're still. We picked up Nick Reynolds. He's out. Looks like he's going to need an operation on Friday. A torn pec. So we've got a few of those this last. Well, Emmy Phillips has had similar, and obviously John Davis as well. So he's a definite out. And we've got a couple of other calls we'll have to make probably later in the week.
You probably surprised Harlequins in the first game. You're not going to surprise them this time?
Yeah, I think certain things went really well for us that day, and we played some really good rugby in both sides that probably at that point in the season were looking to play a certain way, and it fitted both sides. That game was a good game, and I think we attacked particularly well. Early on we countered really well, and then our defence stood up as well against Quins, who are one of the best attacking forces in European rugby, with their offload game and their width that they put in their game. So it was a pleasing day, but it was a few months ago, so we'll have to try and relive a few of those memories on the weekend, hopefully.
I mean, they say they're in better form now than they were at that point. What about yourselves?
I think we've been a bit inconsistent all year, to be honest. We've had too many wins and then losses back, after the win, and that's happened on a number of occasions this season. So I think we're in good health, good spirits. Certainly going to Racing and getting a result. It's not necessarily an intimidating place to go and play, but with what they have at their disposal and the sort of gulf in depth, I suppose, between the two sides, it was a fantastic result, backed up by some very vocal supporters who travelled across in the early hours on Friday morning from here on loads of buses, and however they got there. And to be fair, I think we gave them plenty to cheer about. So it was a pleasing performance. We've had some good performances and not got the reward recently. Pleasing then, obviously, to back that up with getting the win as well.
What pleased you most? The defence, the scrum, the opportunity taking when it came?
I think we did lots of things. We created lots. We didn't necessarily take them, bounce the ball, went against us a few times. Our set piece was excellent against what we'd consider as probably the best line out and scrum potentially in the competition. Certainly what we've come up against, and then we withstood some real pressure from them, and I think we were defending in our own 22 for about 5 minutes of the game, ball in play. So that's quite a big chunk of time without the ball, and only conceding the single try. So all in all, it was a decent day. We weren't perfect by any means, and we'll have to probably play better this weekend to get a result. But it was pleasing that we did play and we did get the win to reward ourselves for some of the hard work that we put in recently.
Do you think you've punched above your weight in this competition this year, Simon, considering a lot of people have written you off when that draw was made in the summer?
Not sure really. I mean, we were probably 23-13 up against Racing at home, and we ended up drawing the game, which is I think it's 24-13. So that was a game we probably should have won. And Claremont at home 13-10 with 20 to go, and we come away with conceding 30 points. So I think we've certainly been far more competitive this season than we were last season, and we were pretty awful really last season in this competition. But we've learned a lot of lessons, and I think we've designed a way of playing at this level in Heineken that you need a set piece platform, scrum and line out, and if you haven't got that, then you really are going to struggle. So I think that's been a real positive for us this season as well.
Yeah, and that's been rewarded with international calls this week. So obviously Sampson and obviously Shingler's in there as
Yeah,
well.
we have 10 players, I think, in the national squad, which is great reward for those players that have played a lot of rugby for us over the last 5 or 6 games. And I suppose it's a fillip in Danny in terms of his development of those front row players, Samson and Rodri in particular. So it's a real positive for me in terms of getting those players that standard. It's quite a small squad that Warren's picked, so no doubt they'll all have opportunities throughout the championship.
Yeah, but you must have been delighted how Rob Evans stepped up again.
Yeah, he was excellent, and he's probably had 2 of the toughest assignments, playing away in Claremont and away in Racing, and he's come through both of the games, to be fair to him, with real credit. So I was really real positive, I think, and just shows the depth that we're creating probably in that front row in particular. It's just good that we've just given ourselves a bit of a chance, and hopefully we'll live up to a little bit of expectation now, which is important that the players do that, especially playing at home. We haven't won a European Cup here for a couple of years, and it's important that we put that right.
Yeah.